Django is a web application framework. To develop web applications, we will be using Django. To use the Django package, we have to install. There are two different ways of installing Django. First one, go to File, Settings, so Project, Python Interpreter. Then click on this plus mark. Any package can be installed like this. Any third-party software can be installed. So type Django. You can see Django. After selecting Django, install package. Django installed successfully. This is one way. Let me show another way. Open a terminal. In terminal, use command pip install Django. Any one approach you can able to use. You can see 3.2.10 is already available. That is why I got this message. Let us see whether Django installed successfully or not. Go for Python -m Django -version. You can see 3.1.1 is available. Let me show how we can create a project. Web project. How we can create a project. So for that purpose, Go for Django -admin. Start a project. Any project name. Let us go for web project PR. I'm choosing a project name as a web PR. Web project created. We have seen installation of Django package and creating a project. I'm choosing a project name as a web PR. So project we have created. Go inside a demo one. You can see web PR. This is the project created. You can see manage.py. We will be using manage.py very extensively. Even to run the project, we have to use manage.py. It is one of the Python file inside your project. Run the Python file, specify what this Python file is supposed to do. Go to the terminal, go inside a web PR, run the Python file. I'm using a command Python. I'm running manage.py and specifying run server. Server will be starting for our project. Manage.py, then run server. Inside a web PR, Python, manage.py, run server. Server started and given the server, our web PR running in the server at 8000 port number. You can click straight away on this or open a browser and you can mention this in the browser address bar. I'm clicking on this. If you are getting this window, then project is success. Web project is success. Inside this web project, you can develop any number of web services. A service which can be addressed to browser requests. Any number of services can be developed inside this project. Please observe. In order to address any kind of, in order to address any kind of web requests, inside a project not only web services, you can also develop web applications. Observe this point. Inside a Django project, not only web services, you can develop web applications. Each web application can have multiple web services. Observe this point. Django project. Inside a Django project, you can develop any number of web services. A block which is for serving a web customer, internet customer. We can make a call to the service which is running under web project. Inside a web project, not only web services, we can also develop web applications. Multiple applications can be developed inside one project. First, develop one service inside a project itself. Later, we'll see developing web applications inside the project. Click on terminal. Terminal will be closed. Please observe inside a project, you can see one more project folder. Go inside. Inside this folder, let me create one simple file, Python file. Right click, go to new, select Python file. So something like views.py or views. By default, it will be py. Inside a views, let me import one simple class from Django. HTTP response. One simple statement which is import HTTP response. Define one function. Guide. I will be choosing function name as a test1. Inside a test1, you can just print something. I am from test1. Finally, return an object of HTTP response. One more thing, it has to take a request. One argument, which is a request. Function is taking a request and returning a response. How to create a response? Return response and from Django project test1 service. HTTP response. Creating an object to HTTP response. Supplying some plain text. plain text with the HTTP response. One simple view function we developed. View function we developed. This is a simple function. Inside a function, just a general log message. This function is returning some kind of response. This function should be assigned to one URL. Come on. This function should be assigned to one URL. Let us see where we can assign this function to one URL. There is a predefined urls.py. Open urls.py. In the urls.py, specify one path. So try developing this statement. From a current directory, import views. Views is a file which is available in the current directory. From the current directory, try to import views. Inside views, we developed test1. Try providing a path. Please share. Already one path is there, that is admin related. Let's go for. Initially, I'll go for blank. Just blank. Views dot test1. For a blank path, I'm assigning test1. For a blank path, I'm assigning test1. You can see the terminal. If server not started, try running server command. Already started server. This is the command we have to use. Already started. After our modification, automatically restarted. You don't require to restart explicitly. Click on this. You can see you got the message from your service. And you can check it out in the terminal. You will be seeing log message. This is a print message. In the terminal, you are getting a print message. Very simple, very simple. For a blank, I'm assigning test1. For a blank, I'm assigning test1. In the terminal, after port number, I'm not specifying anything. It is also a blank. After port number, we didn't specify anything. You can treat this as a welcome file. Mentioning only port number without specifying any explicit URL. So home page. blank is assigned. This is the blank test1. So views is a file. It is containing a test1. That views file available in the current directory. You can see URLs and views. Views we only developed. We can choose any name. Any name we can choose. I choose a name as a views. Inside the views, we defined one function which is acting as a almost web service. Input and output. Input is through argument. Output is through return value. Input is through argument. Output is through return value. Input we are considering as a request, but we are not using as of now. We will use input later. I'm just printing and I'm returning some output. This is the output. It is a pure HTML output. Let me keep h1 tag. Let us keep h1 tag. My system is a little slow. Save it. Test1 is a function which will be acting as one service. What is service? Taking some input, processing that input, producing the output. Service is nothing but a function. Function takes the input, processing, and returning the output. Input is a request object, output is a response. You will be knowing more about input later. We are not using input. We are just making a call. We are not even printing input. This is the output. So this is a simple service. For this service, you need to assign one URL. For this particular service, you need to assign one URL. All URLs mapping will be in the urls.py. In the urls.py. Import Python file from the current directory. Specify path with a path name and function name from a particular Python file. This function is assigning to blank. Let me go for hello. This time it is not for a blank. You need to specify explicitly hello. You need to specify explicitly hello. After changing, you don't require to restart the server. Automatically restart. If code is very proper, you will be getting this type. Now, click on 8000. So you are not getting desired output. Now, blank is not mapped to test1. Go to the address bar, give a call to hello, specify hello, /hello. You can see that HTML with a header output. A simple service which is taking input and output. Like this, you can develop any number of services. We just created one project. Inside that project, only one service. Only one service. Initially, that service is assigned to welcome page like a blank. Later, we modify to hello. Specify explicitly hello. We are specifying explicitly hello. It's very simple. So for hello, test1 inside a views. Where is the views? It is there in the current directory. Go to the current directory, go to the views. It is our own file. Any name you can give. Same name you have to use while importing. So inside this file, not only one service, any number of services can be developed. Not only one service, any number of services can be developed. I developed one service which is taking input and output, which is taking input and output. You have to use request object. It is mandatory whenever request is making from the clients. Client can supply input. That input will be going in the form of a request. Even though client is not supplying input, you have to provide a request. Please observe. Every web service should have a input argument and it should return output object, input and output. For every web service, we have to assign a URL. We have to assign a URL. For URL's purpose, there is a predefined file. Using this file, in the predefined syntax, path is already there. In the Django, path is developed. Use that path. Specify your own URL for a particular test1, which is there in the views. Views is there in the current directory. Just to practice with 2 or 3 more web services, I will continue the same in the next section.